There it is. We back at it. This is actually the second stream I had to do because the first one, apparently, what I was hearing on the first one in the comments or the little section down here was that I was muted. Now the thing about it is like I was actually on a live stream last night where everything was muted. Everything was some lady. I think she was in the Philippines. She was muted too. So I don't know if it's something going on with all the YouTube stuff. But again, it's also because with the actual title that I'm putting here for "Let's Get Retarded," I don't know if that's flagging things right away because YouTube algorithm works fast. The AI works pretty fast. But I'm trying to speak on this Black Eyed Peas song because some of you guys may or may not remember it. If I'm 32, so if you're close to my age, when you were a teenager or you're a kid, you probably heard this shit. And I remember hearing it on the radio, and I remember hearing it on the actual the Ellie Funk CD or one of the Black Eyed Peas albums. And the original goes, "Let's get retarded," instead of "Let's get it started." So I remember hearing this shit. And then, like I said, last night, I go to, and again, I'm just speaking on it right now for the playback, in regards to the playback. Um, People who are here from the playback and not necessarily here uh, for the live or whatever. So I wanted to speak on it because I was like, it's weird. Everybody in the comment section of the actual song. Actually, let me start here. My fucking algorithm got hit with a "Let's Get Retarded" remix. Like someone just like an instrumental beat or like a Nokia beat or like a fucking video game beat over it. But then beside the point, I had to look up if this really existed. I was like, is this some shit that I just wanted to hear, or is this some shit that actually existed? I'm looking at the video. I'm trying to read Fergie's lips. In the beginning, she says, "Let's get retarded." She sings it, and then in the first verse, "Will I Am," he says something like, "This is not to be offensive. This is not to it's more about stimulating your mind and getting your body moving or something." It was something like that. It was something to that effect lyrically. And my thing about it was like everyone in the comment section were saying it make Will I Am's first verse makes sense. It makes sense now. Why did he say that in the beginning? This is not to be offensive. This is not to harm anyone. I forget exactly how he said it, but there's a way he said it and there's how he said it that like I was like, okay, that's really interesting. Anyway, that song existed. It actually existed. But the one I was seeing was it was a video that was kind of zoomed in with the quality of the audio like sync to it, but it was kind of low quality. So then my thing was like, what's going on here? And then I went and found the actual audio. The audio exists, and then I went and found it's hard to find an actual video for it, like an actual just like high quality video with the audio synced and shit like that. So for whatever reason, it just wasn't working itself out. But I found it. I found like 2, 3 different versions of the song, and then I even like went, like I said, went through the comment section, and people saying this is like that Mandela effect because people remember the song and they knew it existed, but at the same time, everyone's so used to hearing the other, because this it's such a good song that they had to change the lyrics. They had to change the lyrics to "retarded" to "it started." So that's the thing is like they changed the lyrics on that shit. People be playing games out here. People be playing games. But anyway, um, that shit existed. That Black Eyed Peas song actually existed, man. It's really interesting. It's like I don't know how else to explain it, but everyone who thinks it's a Mandela effect, I will say look it up on YouTube, and if you can't find it there, I would say it has to exist on Daily Motion. If you were to use a search engine, I would say probably go to Bing, if not Google. I mean, because Google is going to give you more YouTube stuff. It's going to usher you towards things that are related to Google. And under the actual Google alphabet group is Google and YouTube, if that makes sense. So you'd have to go to like Bing or other search. Actually, go to like DuckGo or do like what is the other one? Dogpile. There's DuckDuckGo, Dogpile, and then there's what's the other one I'm thinking of? There's another search engine that doesn't really get used a lot, but I would say use either of those. You know what I mean? Um, and look for it. Try to find it, and then even find like vlogs, forums, or whatever about it. That's my thing about that. I would say. Yeah, but look that shit up. That was the original Black Eyed Peas song. I swear to God. Number one, the chat is lacking. Hey, I don't know if you can hear me or not, because everybody was trolling the last one, but also I've been seeing that there's been audio issues on a lot of live streams. So let me know, Rob, if the audio is clear or if it's going through or not. Because the last live stream, people are like, "You hear me?" Okay. So I wonder if it was the last live stream bugging, but also like last night, I was on another person's live stream. There's a lady in the Philippines. She was speaking for a little bit, and then it cut out. So then I tried to type in the chat, "Hey, you're muted." And then I don't know if like it's just happening to everyone. So it could be a thing. Rob, I was gonna ask you a question since you're here. Do you remember the Black Eyed Peas song "Let's Get Retarded" before they changed it to "Let's Get It Started"? Because in my mind, I knew I remember that shit. And I was saying this last time. I was like, I talked to my brother about this. He remembers it. I talked to my cousin about it. She remembered it. And I was like, yeah. And then they remembered when they changed the lyrics or they changed the thing. So then I looked it up myself. I went on, because I saw it on my algorithm. Like someone had the "Let's Get Retarded" remix with like a video game beat. And I was like, hold on. I know this shit existed. And then I looked it up, and in the actual video, Fergie sings "retarded," and she spells it out. Like there's a bridge, like 3 minutes in the actual song. She sings the shit. You remember the song, but not the title? That was the original, bro. That was the original. The original song was "Let's Get Retarded," and in the beginning, you can find the video still on YouTube. I found it. Fergie sings "retarded" in the beginning, and then will.i.am's first verse, he says, "This is not to be offensive. This is about getting in your, getting your body and like just dancing and shit." That's what the whole thing is about. "Let's Get Retarded," Ellie Funk album 2003. Exactly, Jason. That's what I'm saying. I remember like listening to that album in like 05, 06. Or it might, yeah, you're right. It might have been 03 because my brother moved here, and this dude had 3 albums that he had in his car. We used to bring the Talk albums in his car to play, but he used to always listen to Black Eyed Peas. He had an old little had a mixed CD with TQ. "Let's Get It Started" is the clean version. Yeah, but that's the version that everybody knows. I swear to God, the original version is "Let's Get Retarded," but you'd have to get like the early like CD and vinyl because I feel like they changed it. But then a lot of people in the comments were like, "This is that Mandela effect shit," where people aren't exactly sure. You know what I mean? People like everyone in the comments is like, "I swear this song existed," and now I finally found it, and I found it last night too. So I would urge people to look it up. Like I'd urge "Let's Get Retarded" by the Black Eyed Peas because it's really weird, man. In that time period, you had so like 03, you had "Let's Get Retarded," but it was like politically correct, so they had to change it. But the you broke into a car one time and stole a case of CD and autographed CDs from them. Was in that, man? You should have kept that shit. Also, you got to think. There's like the how do I explain it? What's going on, Roscoe? There's a NFT comic book or some shit that the Black Eyed Peas put out, and that you still got it. That's crazy. The Black Eyed Peas created a T comic book. It has like golden pages and shit. Like the rims are like golden. Like the edges of the page is golden. But I got that from my nephew. I don't think he appreciated it, and because he don't, he's one of those kids that like, oh, you're giving me Black Eyed Peas shit. Oh, what is this? This is corny. But I was like, you don't even appreciate what this shit is. Like, Black Eyed Peas made Let's Get Retarded and Where's the Love in the same year type shit. So it's like they did Let's Get Retarded. They did Where's the Love. They did Bayboat. They did hella shit, bruh. But anyway, like I feel like that album went diamond. I could be wrong. There's 2 albums. There's Ellie Funk and there's another one, but I don't know if that's the same. Those are the same albums. But anyway, excuse me. I remember that shit. And it's like everyone in the comment section was like, "I swear this is that Mandela effect." And I was like, I think all of us were there. All of us were kids when this happened. When this showed up on the radio, we were like teenagers and stuff. Car hopping always been on some goofy shit. Car hopping always been on some goofy shit. I guess I wouldn't know too much about it. But yeah, it was interesting, man. It was like I don't know how to explain it. Like you got to think. And let's say that was '03. That's what Jason Kidd is saying. Shout out to Jason Kidd, the real coach, the real player. But I remember that shit, and then like the hyphy movement started to be a thing too. So everything was about getting retarded and getting stupid, all in that same era of time. Because you got to remember, like 2001 to like '05 ish, everything was on some like army shit. Everything had like army related things in the videos. Late '90s, early 2000s, everything had stuff to do with the army, and they were kind of insinuating stuff. And the crazy thing about it is like around that time, the Dipset happened, diplomats happened, all this army related stuff. DJ, fuck his name, DJ. But he had the Desert Storm mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? DJ. What is this dude's name? DJ Desert Storm. I guess it was DJ Desert Storm. Yeah, DJ Desert Storm, and then they had like these army mix. Crazy. Like that whole era was interesting. And then on the other hand, it was like Black Eyed Peas and like the hyphy movement in the Bay were like, just get loose, man. Just get loose. Pause. Not only do you look handsome, but you look very sweet and you make me smile and your voice makes my heart melt. Well, Grace, what's going on with you, Grace? I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I don't know what to say to that, but I'll just say I appreciate it. You know, thank you for dropping in. I'm wherever talking about Black Eyed Peas and the so-called Mandela effect. But my thing was like, I knew this shit existed. It's really strange. I don't know how to. Also, but the point I was making was like, you know, on the underground level, you had the Bay Area doing the hyphen movement, the get stupid movement. They was thizzing because of Mac Dre. Rest in peace of Mac Dre. But my thing was like, that whole era was like, the Bay was making a scene. They were making a sound over there. You know what I'm saying? They was making a sound and a scene over there that was going viral in its own respect. You know what I mean? It was like MySpace and just straight up mixtapes out the trunk era. Um, and like there was a kid at my school. This was like this was like fifth grade. This would have been like 04, 05, and he was singing Mac Dre songs. He was doing STUPID. He was just singing that shit on the playground. And I was like, what song is this, man? That shit crazy. Because all I listened to was Tupac back then, Tupac and Bone Thugs, Cash Money too. But then like he was like, nah, that's that Mac Dre. I was like, I didn't even know who Mac Dre was. You know what I mean? I found out about him like later when I finally got to middle school and people were talking about it. I was like, who the fuck is Mac? I gotta look into this shit. So I started looking up some Mac Dre. I was like, you know, because I was so used to listening to Tupac and Nas, and that was like my barometer. I was like, man, I don't know if I like this, but this is it's cool, man. I like the sound of the music. I don't know if I liked it because I was too into lyricism at the time. So, but what I'm saying is that whole era of time from Black Eyed Peas to the Bay Area coming up and then doing the hyphy movement. Because in middle school, I was like 06, 07 ish. That's when the whole hyphy movement happened. But that was all about getting stupid and like letting loose, being within your body and just, you know, does that make sense? Like just really letting loose. That was a different time period. But I will say, like, when I think about that shit, that was like 20 years ago. And because it was 20 years ago, like I really got to think to myself, like, okay, if it's 20 years ago, I don't know how to explain this. I think the world has actually gotten a little more retarded since then. I think like them censoring the shit, I don't know if it helped or hurt. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that like they should have kept it because yeah, it was probably offensive to like certain people, especially people who really go through shit like that. So I think you know, censoring the Black Eyed Peas or whatever, censoring the name of the song, the title, etc. My thing is like, I think the world got actually stupider after the censorship, and I could that might sound stupid even for me to say, but I thought about it. It's like, I'll give you an example. You have people that are actually like mentally retarded or like on the spectrum that actually go through shit, but then they're so borderline that they pass as like a so-called normal person. Does that make sense? But the thing is, when they heard that song, they knew to get loose a little more. They knew how to intentionally be in their body and just get actually stupid. So my thing was like, people who drew the line within themselves created a. This is all theory. I'm just bullshit. I'm really just bullshitting at this point. People who really intentionally got retarded, people who really intentionally acted stupid, you know, to some degree it affected them, and then they probably leaned into it a little too much. But for other people, I think it was just like, you know, they knew that there was a fine line of, yeah, this is retarded, this is stupid, and then this is me. You know what I mean? So people really went down that kind of rabbit hole within themselves. This is, you know, pause, but it's just like that's one way I look at it, if that makes sense. So I could be wrong, but I feel like when you allow certain things, it creates an actual. When I explain this, man, it keeps people a little sharp. But the crazy part about it is, again, I'm not really like the older I get, and I start to question censorship and stuff. It's like, yeah, you can't say certain words or whatever, but it creates a divide in people that. How do I explain this? When censorship wasn't around, it created this divide in people because you would just pretty much call someone out for being slightly different than you or being more on one side of a spectrum than the other. You know what I mean? There could be a dude that's like just straight up 180 to 250 pounds of just muscle, just walking around, but then he wears the color pink. And then that was enough for someone to think that he was gay. And then he get called out of his name. He might get disrespected by people who are willing to fight or shoot him. You know, crazy shit. But then it's just like, you know, we don't really care now. But again, the actual speech of just talking to people, I mean, the dialogue is missing. You understand the dialogue aspect of everything is missing, but to censor each other and to like try to cancel each other for certain words, I don't know how I feel about that. That's a little different. I got here, man. That's a little different conversation, I would say. But I feel like there's an actual power to the actual division. The thing is, like, we shouldn't actually be divided by the differences. We should recognize them. We should be able to laugh at it here and there, as long as it's your friends and family members. But I will say like there's something strange about like the way that everything. I think we're a little more. I feel like a little more apart from each other because we walk on eggshells with each other. We could barely communicate with each other now because we have to use specific words within the English language, specific words within just a normal dialogue now, just to talk to each other now. You understand? So I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of this. Where it's like I think us censoring each other and then trying to find the being fake nice to each other and trying to find the actual similarities of someone who was on the retarded spectrum, the autistic spectrum, and then yourself, shit like that created. I'm not gonna say created more of a divide, but it created more of a pull away from each other because it's fake nice. It's fake stuff where we're just like, we're not so different after all, which is fair. But it's like there's some people who have it worse that shouldn't be offended. And again, the song wasn't trying to be offensive. This goes down to Will.i.am's thing. They were just trying to tell people to get loose, get in their body more. And if anything, it's more of a again, I don't want to speak for nobody. I don't want to speak. Oh, dang, I got a little bumblebee over here. What's going on with you, bro? Got a little bumblebee just coming to visit me. I got to put my sleeves up. Damn. If he lands on the hoodie, he lands on the hoodie. It is what it is. But I don't know if that sounds stupid. I don't know if that sounds stupid, but like I think there's something about us us in the era of censorship that is like I don't want to say it's not to me. It's just not good. I feel like we're lacking the actual communication barrier amongst each other. But there should have been like a because you think about it, the word itself got canceled, and it's like, hey, you can't say that no more. It's not right. To the point where like it got so crazy where people just started using it again. People just started calling each other retarded again on the low, and just doing it on like a comedic aspect. You know what I mean? So you started hearing the word again. But I know some people who have like people in their family who are on the um, mentally retarded or whatever spectrum, and they don't like hearing the word at all. They don't like watching movies like The Ringer or like the other. There's another movie with Woody Harrelson where he trains a basketball team of people that had like a mix of Down syndrome and autism and stuff. But people don't like hearing the word, and like obviously, like yeah, if you have a family member or a loved one that's on that like spectrum or whatever, you're gonna whoop someone's ass over it, which is crazy. Hey, I can hear you. Glad got you got it fixed. Would have hate to go live and no one hear you, my brother. Thank you, Stoner guy. Hey, Stoner, you know what's interesting? I was thinking about this. I was like, either you guys are trolling me or something's going on with YouTube. And the funny thing about it was last night, I was saying this was last night there was a lady I think she's in the Philippines or something. I was on her live stream. She was talking for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it went mute. And then I started writing in the chat, I was like, hey, you're muted. I don't know if you know that you're muted right now. And then she goes, she's just eating a fucking ice cream and she can't even like she's reading the chat, but you can't even hear her. So I think there's something going on with like YouTube's in the past 12, 24 hours maybe. Something's going on with actual YouTube live streams where the audio was a little messed up right now. So I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I was like, I had to delete the last one and then make another one right away. But I will say, Stoner guy, since you're here, I don't know if you saw the title of the video or the topic, but I want you to look up on YouTube. Just look up Black Eyed Peas, Let's Get Retarded. This song existed. And it's like everyone is, a lot of people in the comment section says it feels like a Mandela effect. But like I remembered it personally as a kid, and then I had my brother vouch for it, and then I had my cousin vouch for it. I remember having a conversation with them years ago, and they were telling me about that stuff. So I was like, I know this shit exists. But anyway, my the whole point, back to the point here, on my algorithm, I got a song. It was the Let's Get Retarded remix, Black Eyed Peas Let's Get Retarded remix with it was it was either like a video game beat or like a cell phone Nokia beat or some shit. And then I looked it up, and I was like, yeah, this song actually existed. I really had to jog my memory but it was like I said, man, the first lyric, Will.i.am's first bars is something about this is not to be offensive, this is something something. He says something very specific that would make sense if that was the actual chorus. And like I said, Fergie, she's saying retarded, and then she spelled out the word retarded like in the bridge at 3 minutes of the song, like around the 3 minute mark, she starts singing it, which is crazy. Like I said, it's a crazy era, but like I said, I think the actual censorship and like the actual, you know, being nice about it, like there's nothing wrong that we were censoring the word retarded and like censoring it and being mindful about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but like again, being mindful. There's sometimes you could be overly mindful, like go too far on the mindful side of things, and I just feel like something about that made us actually more stupid, because like I said, it's something about people having to create a fine line between what is stupid and retarded, and then themselves. So if they know that it's an intention, does that make sense? If the song itself is kind of telling, if not preaching you for you to get retarded, to like be more in your body and just have fun and just be in the moment, that was the synonym, that was the analogy that they were using in the song. Again, I can't speak for them. I can't speak for them, you know, but that's the way I interpreted it. So in order to have that intention, people who made that intentionally, they know that when they're done being retarded, they go back to being themselves. So I think there's something about it where it's like when you try to censor certain things and you don't really divide the line between certain people and stuff, you start to think that you're like one with certain people. And like you see it all the time. Like you see like white people just doing offensive shit on accident all the time because they feel like they're oh, we're all human beings. They're no, and it's like, no, yeah, this is true. But then there's some cultural differences that you don't go through. And then there's some discrimination differences that you don't go through. And you can't keep pretending that you identify with certain people just because we're all people. It's like, yeah, we're all people, but we all have different things. And then we all go through certain shit because of our conditions, if not our skin tones and shit, or types of hair, you know what I'm saying? Types of whatever. So when people keep trying to pretend to be certain people, there is a line of that of being offensive as well. So we're just stuck in this little middle ground. But again, like there's something to. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people. This is gonna go over a lot of people's heads. It's gonna be stupid. This is gonna be even retarded to review. Don't get me wrong on that. So like I said, look up Black Eyed Peas. Let's Get Retarded. Look that shit up. It actually existed, and it's a really good song. Regardless of the word being offensive, or if people feel a way about it, or oh, you shouldn't say that. I think a lot of people, they've actually never went through being called retarded in an offensive way. I was a kid where people, you would make a mistake and someone would call you retarded. I had a family member where he would fuck up a lot in the house. He would fuck up all the time. And every time he would fuck up, his dad would say that he was retarded. I'm not gonna dispel who he is, but like he would say this all the time to him. His dad would just be like, "Man, are you fucking retarded? Why would you like?" His dad would say this to him, and it affected him so much that he would like purposely fail in school. So there is a fine line of like being mindful of, if someone who is more powerful or has power over you is talking to you a certain way, it'll affect you for sure. So that's why I'm saying I understand the censorship part, where it's like, hey, you don't even know who you have power over. You don't even know who looks up to you. You don't even know who looks up to you as a brother, or as a friend, as a an older whatever classmate. You know what I'm saying? Like just a sense of power to someone, right? You don't know who looks up to you, and then when you start using words like that, they want to start talking like you, being like you, and even emulating the shit you're speaking about. So that's where I think like there's certain censorships where it's like you don't necessarily want to stop the whole word in general. You don't necessarily want to block off the whole thing. Does that make sense? But it's really interesting because like I feel like the word has to exist because it has to be spoken about. But I don't know if like completely taking things out of your vocabulary is a thing. There are certain words like the N word I don't even really say. I'm around the word so much. I'm around the N word so much. I probably say it on accident. But again, it's just the neighborhood I grew up in. So it's like I'm around it so much. But I personally don't say it because I remember being a kid, we would say it, and my friends were like, because I'm not black, but my friends were like, hey, we don't care, bro. You grew up with us. You could say the word just as much. So then I would kind of just recite certain songs and like certain like Chappelle show skits. Now the thing is elementary. I was in like third or fourth grade, and I remember kind of just saying it around one of my teachers. She's from Georgia, my teacher, Miss Shorter. I was like in third grade, fourth grade, something like that. And Miss Shorter heard me saying the word, and like she's from down south, so she doesn't like anyone saying the word. And then I remember I just seen how uncomfortable she kind of felt, and I seen a couple other teachers uncomfortable they felt, and I was like, you know what, man, that word means a lot to a lot of people because that was the last thing they heard before they died, type shit. You got to remember that shit. So I thought about it. I was like, that it rings a little differently. So I'm not mad at people who use it. I'm still around. Like I said, I'm still around motherfuckers that use that shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? All black and brown type of people. Like they just be using that shit all the time. It's just how we grew up around here. But for me, purposely around that time, around that age, I purposely told myself, okay, I'm gonna just stop saying the word because that's kind of fucked up. And the thing about it too was I actually had same thing in elementary in that same time period. I had friends like we had a class. There was a classroom, two different hallways. There's a classroom upstairs and downstairs, and had four kids in there. There's like 4 or 5 kids in there at max, and they had like special. The teachers were giving special attention, so it was a special needs class. And we used to use the word retarded, and then those kids would get offended. The teachers would get offended. Oh, you don't say that shit. You don't say that. You don't say that to them. That's messed up. You gotta understand. They're mentally retarded. They're on the autistic spectrum. They're on the Asperger spectrum. Like it was like a whole thing. So we had to kind of learn to like kind of watch our mouth a little bit. Because the thing is, we would still say and use the word here and there, joking around, but we knew that it was offensive to use it to people who were actually affected by it. So like I said, as a kid, we were actually taught really well. We were taught good, but um, again, we were also actually around the people who were actually offended by it, and we actually had the conversations with said peoples that were letting us know whether things were offensive or not. A lot of people, and that 90s, 2000s there, a lot of people really didn't care. We actually come a long way. We're a lot more caring, but I think that the caring aspect goes a little too far. There's people who really make everyone's business their business, and that's an issue as well. My bad, stoner guy. That's like me. I mess up sometimes. Either my siblings call me retarded or dumbass. That sure hurts. Not gonna lie. Oh, really? Stoner guy. I don't know. Let me know if you're still here. And like, this isn't necessarily for stoner guy. This is for everyone. But here, let me drink some coffee real quick. Here, I'm gonna tell you something fucked up. So the thing about like siblings and like family members, because it's like you're so comfortable with each other and you guys are so close that naturally it's okay if like cousins and family members and siblings and shit offend each other because you guys are so close that you guys are like tight anyway, or you just feel that way. But what I've realized is that it's funny. Oh, I shouldn't say funny, but I was listening to this podcast and these guys were speaking about like like men's mental health and shit. But they're all comedians. They're all comedians speaking about men's mental health. But they were saying something like one thing I've learned is like if someone hurts me or hurts my feelings, if I just straight up look at them in the eye and say, hey man, I'm not gonna lie, you just hurt me right now. I don't know why you and like and again, these are comedians saying that. But so it's just like even though they have fun all the time with each other, pause, it's like they would just kind of sit there and be like, hey man, I ain't gonna lie, you really offended me right there. Like just really having it's not even a heart to heart, just really being honest with someone, and then they'll probably stop. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that they're being offensive. They don't know that they're saying something hurtful. They don't know the effects. And then the thing is, they'll just keep doing something until someone actually speaks up and says something. So like, I'll say this too. Like, my cousin, I remember she didn't necessarily admit that she was bisexual, but or like she's a stud, but she didn't necessarily admit it at this time period. But I remember in that same time period, I would drop the f bomb all the time. But the thing is, my strongest context for the f bomb and like calling someone a faggot was we grew up with like Catholic churches and like grown ups fondling kids. So in my neighborhood, I mean, I'm not saying in my particular neighborhood like the churches, but I'm saying that in my actual neighborhood there was these vans that would drive around, and these grown men would jump out. I'm like right here where I grew up in this fucking neighborhood. I'm still in the same neighborhood. Vans would pull up, and these grown-ups would jump out and then try to snatch little kids, mainly little boys. So growing up, we would always just yell at these dudes because if you think about it, that's an actual predator, that's an actual molester, that's an actual person who's trying to take advantage of a child. We would yell at these fucking grown-ups that we see in vans because we didn't trust them. We like, this fucking faggot over here, fuck this dude. We was not fucking with nobody, no adults that we didn't know, and they was jumping out of vans doing weird shit, trying to snatch kids. Any grown-up talking about, hey, we got bags of chips in the back of the car. Hey, we got Doritos. We got, oh, do you like Gatorade? You like Kool-Aid? They would be saying all this weird ass shit. They would say weird ass shit just trying to get kids' attention and get them in the car. And we would call them grown-ups faggots, and we was willing to fight them. We'd be like 5 kids. We'd be willing to jump these people. But again, that was the context in which I was using the F bomb. So that's why I'm dialing it back right now. I'm going to dial it back. So every time I seen an adult who was borderline, kind of always trying to, they weren't necessarily direct or whatever, and they were a little sus, and they were like they seemed a little gay or whatever, and they seemed like they were too comfortable with everyone. They smiled at kids a little too long, shit like that. Anything that was borderline like that, we would just drop the F bomb and say that shit. So I remember saying this shit. I was doing yard work at my aunt's house. I said that shit. We were talking about somebody, or somebody had walked past and was on some bullshit, just saying, just mumbling something, walking past the fence, like I wasn't gonna whoop his ass or something. It was one or the other. And then randomly, I just said, "Man, this fucking boom, F bomb." I said it. I know I said it earlier, but that's why I'm dialing it back now. My cousin's sitting right next to me. He's like, "Hey, I don't like the word. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't like that word." And then that's all I needed to hear, because she don't really, she's a tough person. She's a real tough person. So the fact that she let me know that something was offensive, if not hurtful, that's all I needed to hear. So what I'm saying to you, stoner guy, and to anyone that like, I'm gonna go back and read stoner guy's message right here. That's like me. I mess up sometimes. Either my siblings call me retarded or dumbass. That shit hurts. Not gonna lie. That's what he says. My thing is like, back to that. For me personally, even though I be saying shit all the time, I just let the words fly. All it takes is for like a loved one to let me know that I hurt them. If they sit down, they don't necessarily have we don't need to have a hour long the heart conversation. We don't need to go through that shit. But if they just simply let me know, like, hey man, that you don't say that shit. That's fucked up. That's offensive. If you just let me know, like I said something hurtful, you don't got to drag me through the dirt. You understand? You don't have to do whatever. That's all I need to hear. So sometimes all they need to hear is just and if they and that's the other fucked up thing. If you tell someone, if you let someone know that something they do to you or something they say to you is offensive is one thing, but if you let them know that it hurts, like, hey, you're hurting me, you're doing something hurtful. If you let them know that and they still keep doing it, you probably shouldn't be fucking with them. Let's be honest. You probably shouldn't be around that person. If you're letting your siblings know, if you're letting your loved ones know, if you're letting your friends know, like, hey man, you're doing and saying something very hurtful and offensive to me right now. I don't know if I like that. I don't like you doing that to me. If you're drawing the line in the sand, you're doing this, that, and the third. If you're really going there with them, you just let them know. You just let them know that, hey man, what you did is hurtful, and then they still fucking with you. Yeah, just don't be fucking with them no more, man. Just don't fuck with them, bro. But yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. Let's Get Retarded by the Black Eyed Peas. That song really existed. Hold on. I drink this coffee. I like spare coffee fall on the rim of the cup or whatever it's called. That shit actually existed, man. You know, no Mandela effect about it. Back to the topic here, because the thing is, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. You know, it started with Let's Get Retarded by the Black Eyed Peas. Look it up if you don't think it's real. But that was the original version, and it started with that. Started getting into the N word, started getting into the F bomb, etc. There's all type of words you can use. There's all type of crazy shit you can say, man. You know, a longer conversation realistically, but that's my advice to Stoner guy. I don't know if he's still there. Hopefully he's still here hanging out and listening to what I'm saying, because I'm trying to make sense of just let people know, man. There's nothing wrong with actually being hurt and then talking about it. If you can't be in a space where you can speak about being hurt and being heard about it, then you're in a place where you're not valued either as a guy, as a man, or just a human being in general. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've had that in relationships where it's just like I'm just being myself, and then people don't like me being myself who is like honest and expressive. You know what I mean? There's moments where I'm being honest and expressive. I'm not intentionally trying to be offensive, if that makes sense. Because I'm simply not trying to intentionally be offensive to someone, but I'm being interpreted a certain way. I'm being interpreted as you know, a person who speaks rough or whatever, just speaks kind of like, with no regard. I get treated with regard, and I get treated roughly sometimes, and it's just like it's a fine line of like, yeah, but you're asking, I don't want to dial shit back. I don't want to not be honest. I don't want to live in a world where I can't be honest. So that's one thing where it's like people can get mad, but it's like, yeah, but you're acting like I'm intentionally being offensive. It's not my intention. If you are offended, or if you're offended on behalf of other people, that's one thing. But just understand, like, I'm just trying to speak with purpose here. That's all it is. Purpose and honesty. So what I'm saying is, when you start finding yourself around people who can't comprehend that, that's one thing. Because the comprehension side is a level of education. It's a level of smarts that you can't expect everyone to have, and that's one thing that's fair. But it's another thing if people want to go out your way and comfortably offend you, and go out of their way and comfortably, um, you know what I mean, intentionally offend you. People who want to go out of their way and comfortably, intentionally offend you, uh, comfortably, intentionally hurt you. People who constantly want to do that, you have to ask yourself, like, do I deserve this? What is it that I'm doing that's affecting them to do that to me? The funny thing is, my mom was that way. My mom sometimes, because she grew up with like more of they would just kind of speak freely, and they would just say things direct, so it comes off as offensive or whatever. But it's like, yeah, no, they don't mean any harm. They're just speaking directly. They're using the word that they know. So sometimes they'll say kind of offensive words and stuff like that. But that's not even the whole intention about it, if that makes sense. Yeah, let's go. Good morning. But the crazy part about it is, like, she would talk to me a certain way. Sometimes I'd feel a way about it, but then I would talk to her the same way, and she would wonder, like, why I would be trying to like hurt her feelings or something. And my thing is, like, I'm not trying to. I would tell her in a certain way. I was trying to say it in a comedic way. I was like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. You said the same thing to me earlier. You said something very similar to me earlier. I'm just doing the same. I'm just repeating the same behavior to you. I would kind of have those kind of conversations and talks with her, if that makes sense. And then she would get the picture, but then she would intentionally still joke around with me, and she would intentionally still be offensive sometimes. So then I would just meet her halfway with her same bullshit. But again, like, it's like, okay, is that someone? Oh, it's your mom. Do you still want to be around her? Do you still want to spend time with this person? Yeah, sure. I feel like, I have a responsibility to take care of her. So yeah, I do feel that way. But on the other hand, um, even though it is a loved one, and they're meeting me with that offensive whatever, you still got to meet them halfway with their own behavior to see if they're able to reflect on it. Some people aren't able to reflect on it. You know what I mean? I remember one time my actually I'll divulge this. This kind of gets more into like the suicide side of myself and just life in general. But I don't know if I'll say it anyway. So my mom, she holds a dear place in my heart, and like I will say, it's really weird because I think in fourth, I say this all the time. In fourth grade was the first time I tried to kill myself because my mom, for whatever reason, she was kind of just like fucking with my emotions, breaking my heart a little bit. And like in my mind, I was like, you know what, man, I know if you run out of breath or you run out of air, you die. So I tried to hold my breath, and I thought it would work. So then I held my breath I'm like in fourth grade. I tried to hold my breath for as long as I could to see if I would die right there, just sitting on the couch. And then at some point, you let go, and then you start breathing, and then you start, So then I realized, like, yeah, you can't like do it yourself. You'd have to like hang yourself, and I had nowhere to hang myself. I had no rope, if that makes sense. So anyway, fast forward like a couple years before my mom passed, I remember I take her to one of her appointments, or like we went to go pick up her medication at the pharmacy. So anyway, we're there, and what did she say? Oh, sorry. There's like a phone that's on these desks in the lobby area, and on the phones you could just pick it up and use it. Just call numbers that you know. So I picked up the phone, and because it's not my own personal number, I started going through my contacts and then calling numbers that I had in those contacts. Like I would call my cousins, I'll call my uncles, my aunts, and then I'll call my brother. So I would go down the whole list. I called my oldest brother, who was my mom's first son from her first marriage. Oh yeah, first marriage. So then I called this dude, and he's like, "Oh, hello, who is this?" Because like on the caller ID it says the hospital, so he picks up right away, thinking it's an emergency. And then I put my mom on the phone, and then right away they're just talking shit to each other. Now this is normal behavior because my mom always talking some shit to him and asking about money and all this stupid shit, and then he always has asked her about money, and then he jokes back and he's like, "Oh, you're still alive? You're still alive, mom?" Like kind of just joking and saying like they just say offensive shit to each other all the time. And then this is where it gets crazy because my mom starts getting mad at me because I called him, and she's like, you know what? Don't call him anymore. Don't call him anymore because he's gonna keep asking me, "Oh, am I alive?" and da da da. And I always try to reason with her. I'm like, he says that shit to you because you say fucked up shit to him all the time. You always say fucked up shit to him all the time. You always compare him to his dad. You tried to kick him out the house multiple times. You don't like him. You didn't raise him. He wants a connection with you that you don't want to give to him. You know what I mean? Like he he let him get raised by his dad, so he's raised with his dad, and then meanwhile she's raising us. So there's always this weird disconnection in that regard. But I was like, yeah, you just be a mom to him for once. But she doesn't really want to deal with him for whatever reason. It's fucked up. So that's why he talks to her a certain way. That's why he feels it's okay because she's so used to talking to him a certain way. She's so used to just asking him. I mean, she's joking around, but she's asking him for money. Like, oh yeah, there's no reason that I need to deal with you unless you have money to give me. Like it's just that type of conversation. So that's their relationship. But they would just say offensive shit to each other. So whatever for whatever reason, it got to my mom, and she's like, yeah, don't call him no more. I don't want to talk to him if he's gonna be like that. But in as the years and months went on, I would constantly call him still. I would FaceTime him and let them talk to each other and just kind of they would speak nicely to each other. And then when my brother started having like daughters and kids, obviously like he would bring the girls around, which is nice because the connection between him and my mom started to get a little closer and stronger through the grandkids, which is good. But anyway, back to this same time period. Man, I remember we go back home, and then I'm kind of just doing stuff upstairs, downstairs. I go fucking back downstairs at some point. It's like hour or two later after coming home and the whole phone call, and then she's still talking about the shit and still bringing it up. She's hurt and she's still talking about the shit, bringing it up. Like, yeah, I don't even know. I don't want to talk to him no more, man. Why is he talking? She's just still thinking about the shit. She's still hurt about it. And then I'm like, I just got honest with her. I was like, man, I don't like when you guys fight like that. I don't like when you guys argue and fight like that. You guys just gotta, you know, I don't like that. I just don't like that. And then she's like, well, if you don't like it, go kill yourself. That's literally what she said to me. She said, if you don't like it, go kill yourself. And I remember hearing that shit, and I was like, that's fucked up. But she just projected all of her hurt onto me, like in that instant. But that's all it took. That's all it took. And then again, for whatever reason, I kind of just reverted back to like be again. This was like what 29. This has been like 2019, 2020, something like that. And when she said that to me, it fucked me up. And then it took me all the way back to 2004. It took me back to 16 years ago type shit, where I just thought about like her talking to me about killing myself, all this crazy shit a certain way again. This fucking come here. Look at this fly. Get over here. Go in the hand. Go in my hand. Come here. There's a like literally as I'm talking about this shit, there's a fly that just go in my hand. Go over here. As I'm talking about this shit, even when I'm talking about the retarded shit, it fucking flies just fly right into my face. So either this is some psyop shit, or this is just some spiritual mom visiting me as a fly type shit. Who the fuck knows? I'm gonna show you what we talking about, bro. This little fly here literally just hit my face. Not the small one, the big one. Crawling away. This guy can't even fly right now because he ran into my face, and he was on his back just rolling around. Dude was just rolling around. Here, 1 second. Let me fix something real quick. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're back. Anyway, my mom tells me to go kill myself, and then it triggers me back to some 16 years ago type shit. And I go in my room, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I don't even know like why all this weird heavy feeling started hitting me, and it fucked me up a little bit. So I don't know, man. I really, I'm speaking about it because I don't know who needs to hear it. So then I'm just writing this fucking like letter because I'm like, man, if I'm gonna kill myself, fuck it. I started writing this letter because I'm like, someone might find this shit. I just need to write how I feel, and I just don't want people fighting anymore within the family, etc. I started writing this shit out, and my plan that night was like, I'm gonna go to there's a certain park by the lake. I go all the way down there and just pop myself in the head, put the gun right under my chin, and just fucking pull that shit. It was a hollow tip too, so I would have been suffering for a long time. Who the fuck knows? You know what I'm saying? It should have been a full metal jacket so it goes straight through. But who knows how hard my head is? Ain't no telling. But anyway, I say all that to say, like, I damn near cried myself into fatigue that night, and then I forced myself to go to bed. I was like, man, if you don't go to bed, you're gonna walk outside and kill yourself. So I tried to, I damn near just cried myself to sleep, type of shit. It fucked me up. I'm like a fucking adult going through this random trigger. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, yeah, I got to talk to my therapist about this. Therapist is like, listen, you're going to do something. You just talked to me about something that could possibly create bodily harm to yourself, if not kill yourself. So you need to talk to someone before we talk to someone else that has to legally, not restrain you, but, something to that degree. So I'm like, shit. I had to talk to my cousin about it. And then for the next couple of days, they would check in and just kind of, have me on watch or whatever and be like, yeah, all right, he's still alive. And then I had another close friend, I'm not friends with her no more, but it's fucked up because I had to like put the gun in a bag and then give it to her just so I didn't have a weapon around me. So they were just like, I just told her, I was like, listen, I need help with this. I just need you to take care of this right now. And then she held it for about a month or a couple weeks. And then I just picked it up from her later when I felt a little better. And she was just like, are you feeling better? All right. Got it back. But I got over it, I guess. And then what's crazy is, fast forward, my mom was the only person who could really trigger that out of me for whatever reason. Make me want to kill myself. And then when she died, all that kind of went away. But then, like now that she's dead and I have no one to take care of, I don't know what I'm living for. So that's kind of the interesting, you know, it's weird. I don't understand what I'm living for. I'm kind of just living now, just living just to live. So purpose wise, it's almost like finding the love aspect and then having a kid. Like yeah, you'd want to live for a kid. But yeah, man. I don't know if that makes sense. There's a point I was making with that. Yeah, certain words, man, will sit there and really get to you, man. Certain people speaking to you a certain way. You know what I mean? If you're so used to talking to people a certain way, because you want to be offensive to them before they say something offensive, or before they say, you want to be the most offensive to them before they, does that make sense? Because basically you want to hurt someone more than they're able to hurt you. So that's why you get really comfortable speaking to people a certain way. My thing is like, it's a double-edged sword because you're just going to make each other worse, really. Your relationship with that person is only going to get worse, really, because you want to be on some tough shit with each other rather than some loving shit. Because when you have some love for people, man, it's always on up and up. You understand? When you got love for people, man, it's always on the up. When you want to sit there and wrestle about who's the most hateful, who's the most offensive, you don't really get nowhere. You just have a stagnant relationship, and you actually end up growing farther apart. And I've seen it where like there's certain siblings where they're so used to being offensive to each other, and because of that, they pull away from each other so far away, but they actually get really successful because of it. So it helps and it hurts in a certain way. It toughens you up, but it's just like, yeah, because that's the real world. But then there's no actual, functional building there, if that makes sense. Anything that doesn't have God, love, and nature, man, there's not much functional building there, for being honest. But a lot of people don't really understand that conceptually or just in general. But I will say, man, yeah, you don't go nowhere with that shit. It doesn't really get you anywhere. There's certain people that go through a lot of trauma in their lives, and they already come from traumatic countries, if not traumatic backgrounds and races and shit. So when people do that, we're all human shit. It's like, yeah, we are, but somehow you as a human being have dealt with all the privileges and got away and skated through life and done bullshit your whole life, but we can't get away with that shit without getting confronted by either police or just like someone else with some like crazy weaponry or some shit. So I don't do that whole we're all human shit. It's like, yeah, we are, and some of you humans got better advantages than the other for whatever reason. And I could say the same thing just being simply being an American. Simply being an American, I have all the advantages I really need. Let's be honest here. Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, people on me right now. I got a random text for a Coinbase withdrawal code. It's like I don't even have Coinbase like, on the phone right now. It's not even fully downloaded. That's crazy. My information might be somewhere, if not just trolls. Trolls that want you to hit the link. That's how it goes. I don't do that hit the link shit. But yeah, man, be careful what you say to people. And there's nothing wrong with letting people know. This is just in general, letting people know you feel hurt about something. Something hurts you. People thinking that ain't no man shit. Like you just tell people, man. Because the thing is, from men to men, from boy to boy or whatever, men to boy, whatever. You talking to anybody that's a male in your life, and it's just like if you sitting there talking about some shit, it's one thing if you guys are offensive to each other, but a lot of times because we'll never put our hands on women. I mean, yeah, most dudes will never put their hands on women. They'll never hit women. Um, because of that, we allow them to we allow them to hurt us emotionally and mentally a lot. And women put their hands on men, and then a lot of men don't swing back sometimes too. And just in general, even if it's like a mom hitting you or a sister hitting you, and then you're not gonna hit them, you're not gonna full power that shit. Shit, if that's your sister, cousin, you're not gonna full power the bitch, even when she's socking you and shit. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do that. It depends who it is. I feel like yeah, I have certain like some of my girl cousins, I'd probably sock them. Depending on which one it is. I'm like, man, she keeps talking too much, I'll sock the shit out of her. But I love them like sisters. I grew up with them like that, so it feels that way. I'm also the youngest, so it's just like I don't feel too bad about just hitting the quick swipe. Bah! You know what I'm saying? I'm just being funny here, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, and on a normal basis, you don't go out of your way. I'm gonna put this woman in her place and just start whooping on her. That's fuck. No one does that. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'm trained in combat, so I wouldn't do that. But it's just like the thought of it. Actually, that's one thing that made me offended one time. I was me and my ex. This was like years ago. We got into an argument, and then she said, "Yeah, I don't know," and then you're just angry, and maybe you would have pulled my hair or something. And I was like, when have I ever done that shit? Why would you assume that I'm gonna do some stupid shit like yank you around and I don't know. You don't fucking know, then don't put that on me. Like I've never done that to you. You never see me do that to a woman, and you've never heard stories of me doing that, but you just want to make shit up. Like what the fuck? That's the thing is like a bitch will offend you just to see if you'll actually do it. She'll put the idea in your head, and then when it happens to you, does that make sense? Like a bitch will put some ideas in your head, and then the moment it happens to her, it's like, oh, see, he actually did do it, and I was like, no, yeah, you gave me the idea, and I ran with it. And then sometimes females will they know that shit. If they know someone is mentally struggling, they'll put the idea in someone who's mentally struggling's head to see if they'll actually do it. Women will test you, bro. This isn't to demonize them. This is just to tell the truth. They will test you on some crazy shit. All you gotta do is just pass the test. That's all it is. You just gotta find the bullshit and just pass the test. The fact that you gotta deal with bullshit all the time, man, it just be that way. It just be like that. Staying on bullshit there. Here we go. Here we go. But yeah, man, just be mindful of what you say to people. Just be mindful of what you say to your loved ones, man. That's all it is. That's all I got from that. Because, like I said, we're over here talking about "Let's Get Retarded" by the Black Eyed Peas, man. That shit existed. "Let's Get Retarded" by the Black Eyed Peas. That shit existed. That was a real song. It actually happened. It really happened. Y'all gonna have to look that up, man. If you're here this long in this live stream, I mean, everyone damn near left, man. Everybody damn near left. But that's some other shit, man. We talked about everything. We covered everything today, from the word retarded itself and how that could be offensive, but also if it's being used by like loved ones, siblings, etc. You know what I'm saying? Just be mindful of that shit. Be mindful of what you're saying and how you treat people. And on the other hand, we talked about the F bomb, the N word, all that shit. Comfortably being around it, who you're comfortable being around, and who you're comfortable offending. If that makes sense. You got to be very mindful of who you're comfortably offending. This is the thing too, is like with the influx of comedy, especially comedy during and after the pandemic. Um, Everyone thinks they're a fucking comedian. Everyone thinks they have a right to say shit, and it's like, oh, I'm just trying to be funny. But it's like, yeah, you could try to be funny, you can still get your ass whooped. So it's just like, I think people, they should go back to just whooping people's asses in general. It's like, yeah, if you're offended, man, and if you're talking to the wrong people about the wrong shit, just fuck them up. Fuck them, because it's just, that offensive shit. It's not. It shouldn't be tolerated necessarily. Thought I heard someone behind me. It's just a crow walking around. That's funny as hell. But yeah, man. Because a lot of, like, that's the other thing is like, if someone's trying to be funny or offensive, and it's like, I just met you, or you're like someone I work with, it's like, bro, we're not friends like that. For you to be talking to me that way, that's one thing I gotta say to people. I gotta start saying it a little more often. Is like, hey, we're not friends for you to be talking to me like that. So don't ever catch me talking to you. Excuse me. Don't ever catch. And fuck. See, you see that? You see the way I fuck up my words? This is why I'd rather just swing at first. Fuck all that. I'd rather just swing first. Fuck all that. Fuck the talking. I'm trying. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm trying to be mindful, but I can't even talk straight some days. Some fucking bullshit. Anyway, that's my problem, man. I try to be mindful. I can't even talk straight. No one has time or the patience to wait for someone to say things correctly or accurately or whatever. I'm on a point. I'm gonna just start swinging. Fuck that. I'm gonna just start swinging on people. That's what you gotta do. Fuck all that. Coffee got warm. It's all right though. Drink it up, charge up, pause. You know. But yeah, I've we had like 18 people early in the chat in the last one, and I was like, the word retarded was in there, so they clicked that shit right away. But my thing was like, um, I will say too, this is probably, I'm not gonna say it's gonna blow up, but I know it's gonna get clicks, and people are gonna kind of check out what it's about. It's probably gonna get a couple of dislikes here and there, which is funny. But I will say, like, what was I gonna say? I will say, like, what was I saying? Oh, my live stream that went the most viral was the purebred retard, Alex Tarshoon. That was the name of his channel, and I just spoke about it for a little bit. And yeah, like I said, I think I probably will lean on more viral Kill Tony stuff that I look up content wise, because that's a part of my life that like I experience and I go through. And what I mean is like, today is Monday, so later tonight, Monday night, I will have family time, my brother and my dad, and we watch Kill Tony. So if anyone speaks about a viral thing or something funny or something ridiculous, I'm gonna check it out. I might review it, I might talk about it. I will lean into that a little more because it's a part of my life. So why wouldn't I speak on it? Live stream shit. But yeah, I'm just walking up to the library now. Killing time, man. Let's make it an hour. Let's make this about an hour ish. But right after this, I am gonna play Silk Song on live stream. So hopefully I get that situated. I also don't know, like I stopped putting tags on a lot of my shit, and then people find it anyway, which is really good. So I'm doing less tags now. Honestly, less tags is actually working for me. Less tags and no tags for some reason. If there's some Dragon Quest videos I got, people just be finding it. It's the most random shit too. Like I thought I would get more comments on the actual boss fights and the actual storyline. Come to find out, just me training and looking for Metal King slimes. People are like, oh my god. I'm like, this is what you want to see? But this is what you want to comment on. That's different. But it is getting a lot of views for some reason. I mean, it's only like 25, but compared to everything else where it's like you get a dedicated 2 to 4 views here and there, and this shoots up to 25, I'm like, well, I'll take that. It's just strange. I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, some people be bots though. I will say too, there was someone who joined the server talking about, I've seen some videos about this is the Beyblade server I'm speaking on. Someone goes, I've seen some videos about you guys' events. And I was like, yeah, it's probably me. I don't know too many other people who are vlogging it that are, you know, I don't know too many people who are vlogging it, just in general. But yeah. Man, hold on, I'll speak on this too, man. Facts over feelings any day. You want a good balance of this shit. You want a strong balance of this shit. Oh, damn, there's a big old spider web. Ooh. You want a strong balance of this shit. I don't know how my connection's going right now. It could be choppy. Hold on. Whenever I'm walking down this particular street, crossing between from Jefferson and Cherry, it gets a little choppy. But facts over feelings, man. I was thinking about the past couple days. There are certain things happening behind the scenes of shit that I don't know about that's starting to seep into everything. You know what I'm saying? Being honest with certain people, giving people fair warning. People start inviting the everyone invites the bullshit. I was like, listen, I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it every single time. The curse that I've been through is that the value of certain things that I'm talking about is like, bruh, people who are here, they've seen it in live time, whether it's the live stream or they've seen it just in general. I'll speak about some shit and then some other form of it or another form of the energy, whether I'm accurate about something or not. Like I'll give you an example. I was upset about some bullshit at the shop, the card shop. I thought my beef was with the guy because I felt a bad energy from the dude. And he probably felt the way, but he's just a little dry with whatever about stuff. He probably just having a bad day. He projected a bit on us. And then I took it the wrong way, like it was a whole situation, like I was going to fight dude. But it wasn't even that serious. And then fast forward, like I said, I was speaking about it on live stream, talked about it. My guy Z was like, man, you might be tripping. And he's right though, I probably was tripping. Come to find out that same week, my homie passed away. So anyway, I was speaking about that same friend who passed away with an old coworker the other day. And we're just like, yeah, it's just crazy, man. He was like 30 something and he died. He got murdered. But it was like it was that lingering energy. Like I knew something was off, but it's like, again, facts over feelings. The feeling was something was off. The facts were the person that you're trying to be upset about or trying to be mad at, it's not even their fault. You just you feel like you need to deliver that bad energy and that ass whipping to the wrong person. And that's wrong. So facts over feelings. Does that make sense? Facts over feelings. Like, yeah, it feels like I need to start swinging on this person. Sure. But why? And if you can't answer why, you're just, again, you're just perpetuating a cycle of hurt. That's not good for anybody. That's what the whole live stream has been about. You know what I mean? So, but it was crazy because later that week I did a live stream, rest in peace to my homie Sahil. And Z popped back in. He said, bro, he said, damn, you did say something was off. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, the feeling was was not necessarily right. I mean, sorry, the feeling was right. It wasn't to be ignored because it was a feeling. It was a strong feeling. But then the fact of what I was, you know, whatever feeling is like there yet. It wasn't pieced together until like I was given more information. So I don't know, man. Facts and no feelings. So this past weekend, same similar situation. People just trying to figure out what's on with each other. This is in multiple communities here and there I'm a part of, and I was like, yo, we gotta just talk it out. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else to say. Like you just really gotta talk it out sometimes. Like no right or wrong way about it. I will say like, excuse me. One thing I will say is like, shout out to this guy Caboose. Like I don't hate you, bro. I just laughed at everybody dogpiled on you because my thing is like, you just stay on bullshit, man. Dude goes through a problem and he makes his problem everyone else's problem. It's like I ain't never seen no shit like this unless it's like a little kid. You ever seen like someone who's raising a son and the little boy's complaining and whining about everything not going his way? And you got to keep constantly telling the kid like, hey, that's not how life works. Just not going your way. What's wrong? Let's troubleshoot this. He don't know how to troubleshoot shit. That's his issue. That's he's a grown fucking man. That's his issue. Whenever it's if something's problematic, he makes his problem everyone else's problem. It's like, bro, handle this shit. Conversate about this shit. And granted, I think he tried his best. That's what's crazy. He's still trying his best. But it's like, bro, you're posing like everybody's going through this shit right now. The company that he bought some Beyblade shit from, I'm gonna end on this because this is a way of conversation. The company he bought some Beyblade shit from, he's trying to get one item. Now, because of the tariffs, they're like, hey, we can refund your whole order, we can cancel it, refund your whole order, or we can just wait. You know what I mean? Or you can just pay the extra fee and then wait. So then he files a complaint and then he files a charge against them. And it's like, bro, it's not their fault. It's your government's fault for imposing the tariff on the shit you want. But you're going to be mad at the foreign company? It's not their fault. The fuck? Like, he's stupid. But it's just like, so because they did something to inconvenience you for one item that you can get somewhere domestically, possibly, even through eBay, you're going to charge the whole fucking company? So now it's going to become a credit card company issue with that company, mixed with you just fucking being a bitch. Like, this shit is crazy. So he has a track record of doing this shit. Shit, he sent a screenshot of a statement I made to him, to some guy that we all love and trust. And that dude's on fucking vacation. I was like, bro, you make your problem everyone else's problem all the fucking time. But yeah, that shit. Anyway, that's probably the biggest issue. Everything else is probably like manageable. But literally, like, I didn't even say anything. I just read 35 new messages. I'm scrolling and reading the whole thing. I had to message my guy. I was like, listen, man, you can't reason with this dude, man. He's gonna make his problem everyone else's problem. Just say your piece and just leave it alone, because he's gonna dig himself in a hole. And the funny part about it is, like, because he got called out on it and nobody likes him, literally like 5-6 people just dogpiled on that shit. Every statement that people made in response to him was getting like 5 reactions. I was like, y'all getting on this man's life. I had nothing to do with it this time. I've been nothing but honest with him. He tried to tell me he wanted to come hang out. I was like, don't fucking bother come hanging out with us. We don't want you around. Trust me. The moment he comes around, we're gonna go grab lunch. And I'm not holding my tongue about none of that shit. Fuck all that. But yeah, it's funny. I'm walking past the park right now, or like it's a block ahead. I woke up earlier. I was like, should I go to the park early? I thought about playing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I might start doing that. I might start walking over to
If I wake up early in the morning, walk over to the park, get a couple minutes in, hit the live stream, go back home, shower, wash up, charge the phone, etc. Get ready for work. If I have time, I'm gonna start doing that. That's what I'm thinking, at least. But yeah, that's what's going on with me. But yeah, walk up to the library, get this live stream going though for that Silk song. Damn, I gotta go to the bathroom. But yeah, all right, y'all. For those that tuned in, I appreciate it. For those that didn't stick around for the extra rants, shout out to people who stayed here from the playback. Shout out to y'all, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace.